Hi, this is Bruce Cohen, and I'm coming to you here today to talk about delays and denials in 2019 for immigration cases. As many of you know, I've been practicing immigration now for several decades. I'm board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization in Immigration, and I wanted to visit with you today to just give an update on the first quarter of this year and what's been happening in immigration. So this year of 2019, we're starting to see lots of denials. Many people are coming into my office showing me cases that got denied. Maybe they did it on their own. Maybe they did it through another lawyer. And even in some cases, we did the case and we're seeing denials. So this is a very unfortunate situation. This is a part of what people know as legal immigration, going through the process to legally immigrate to the United States. And for many, many years that I've been practicing immigration law, you follow the rules, you fill out the applications, you give the evidence, and your case gets approved. Unfortunately, as part of the current administration's take on immigration, and especially the executive orders that have come from the president about being more difficult on these cases, we're seeing new ways of cases being denied. Unfortunately, we're seeing situations where the evidence is completely ignored and the cases are simply denied. Of course, there are appeal processes available, but many of these cases involve sponsorships through an employer where the employer needs the worker now and really can't afford the time to be sponsoring a worker with a case taking several years going through an appeal process. And that goes to the executive order that talks about hiring Americans and not immigrants. So even though we have this legal immigration system available, that's the law, unfortunately what we're seeing coming from the government on a lot of cases these days are denials. And the denials always come with an explanation, but from my review of the materials, a lot of these denials clearly show they haven't examined the evidence, or if they did, they're just making things up and denying cases. I've been hearing from my friends who are immigration lawyers all over the country, some of whom represent exclusively big companies, big employers, and they're all seeing the same situation. So the question is what to do about it, and the answers are tough. I mean, I've actually heard members of Congress who used to be able to get things accomplished in terms of fixing improper denials. I've heard members of Congress say that if you're not of the president's party, forget it, they're not even going to talk to you. And even if you are a member of the president's party, that doesn't mean they're going to fix it. In fact, generally they're not going to fix it. So individuals who are trying to immigrate right now are in just a huge predicament. It's a really big problem. And the thing that I always tell people about is litigation. For many, many years, actually as long as I've been a lawyer, I've been filing lawsuits against the government challenging the denials of immigration cases. Unfortunately, many of my clients don't want to litigate right now. I'm really not sure why. We do have some that are in the pipeline right now. Some cases we're working on filing a lawsuit. But historically, once you file a lawsuit against the government for an improperly denied case, the case is immediately reviewed by the U.S. attorney in your particular city where the case is filed. So you get a person reviewing it who does not practice immigration law, but knows right from wrong and knows when there's proper evidence and when there isn't proper evidence. And I've found over the years that in most situations, the U.S. attorney will then talk to their client, which would be USCIS or the Department of Homeland Security, and say, look, you guys made a mistake and we need to fix this. And normally the filing of the lawsuit, at least in my case, has resulted in the case being approved. Now, that's not 100%. It's definitely way more than 50%. But if more people would step forward and challenge these cases, I've seen it in the situation of H-1B visas being denied wrongfully, and individuals just returning to their home country giving up. They did all their education here in the U.S. They were sponsored by an employer on a case that should be approved, and the case was wrongfully denied. Maybe they appeal it, maybe they don't, but they could take that case to court. And within 60 days, within 60 days, the government has to provide an answer to the lawsuit. And many times that answer is a telephone call to their attorney saying, all right, we changed our mind, we're going to approve the case, really as they should have done in the first place. Problem is, such few people challenge these decisions in court that the government feels comfortable in denying case after case after case because nobody's challenging them. If every person that got a denial, or even 10% of those denials, would challenge it in court, I'm sure we'd see a whole different attitude being developed where these people are being called out for making decisions that are arbitrary and are not in compliance with law. And that's a legal test if you're going to take a case to court. Is the decision arbitrary, capricious, or not in accordance with the law? And most of the denials that we see coming in on immigration, those decisions are not in accordance with the law. In fact, they flout the law. They don't care, a lot of these decisions seem to indicate we don't care what the law says, we're just denying the case. We don't want more foreign workers. And that may be a political point of view, but that's not the law. And the law says those cases are required to be approved if all the evidence is submitted. So, my report for 2019 after the first quarter of the year on immigration is that things are not bright and rosy, unfortunately. And across the board, be it asylum cases, be it business immigration cases, and even family cases involving spouses or children that are being sponsored by parents, or parents being sponsored by children. These cases that used to be a slam dunk, almost automatic approval, the government's looking at every one of them and trying to find ways to deny them. So now more than ever, it's really important to make sure that you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's when submitting immigration applications and including all the appropriate evidence.